Good morning. We stand here together in front of you this morning as one community. And as one community, the loss of one is a loss to us all. I want to begin with my condolences to the Hare family, his friends, his brothers and sisters in service, his community. This morning, in federal court, a complaint was unsealed charging Jeremy Smith with 2 federal crimes. The first is carjacking resulting in death. The second is discharge of a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence. Smith, as you all know well, is presumed innocent and will retain that right until the day that we prove him guilty in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. For that reason, I'm going to hew closely to the words of the complaints, not answer many factual questions, and I've asked the same of the folks who are going to speak after me. But I want to begin by thanking our partners, Secretary Bowie, New Mexico State Police Chief Weisler, Sheriff John Allen, and especially a special thank you to the men and women of New Mexico State Police, the Quay County Sheriff's Office, the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, all of our local law enforcement partners across the state who worked tirelessly last weekend, and for your bravery in the face of despair. You made good on your promise that you would find Smith, and we're going to take it from here. But most importantly, I want to thank this community. Setting aside the allegations, put yourselves in the shoes of a gas station attendant who is not a trained investigator, who is not an official, who is not a cop. A brave civilian working a normal job 100 miles away from a terrible crime. And imagine knowing what you all knew then, and imagine still doing the right thing. Still standing up for someone you have never met. I have all these cops behind me in all these suits. And yet it was one of you in the community who did the right thing because doing the wrong thing or doing nothing was unthinkable to you. And so I want members of our community to remember the last weekend's tragedy was bookended by hope, by strangers doing the right thing for people they'd never met. It is in their honor and in their name that we stand up for each other. I'm proud to be a member of this community. I'm going to turn it over to Secretary Bowie for a few remarks.
Thank you. I'll start off, we did earlier in the week as well, is thanking all of our law enforcement partners for coming together and aiding and assisting the New Mexico State Police during this tragedy. I want to thank especially U.S. Attorney Alex Ubayas for their support in this as well. And he's not here today, but Special Agent in Charge Raul Bahanda was extremely instrumental in helping us well as we were sifting through information and bringing Jeremy to justice. It's been a long week. I'll just share with you just a couple of thoughts, some of my observations. When something like this happens, we jump into action, and we recognize the immediate need to get such a violent person into custody, because a person who would commit such a crimes against police officers certainly is an extreme risk to anyone in the public. And in those moments, we suppress our emotions because we understand that work needs to be done. As soon as we get the word, we're running on adrenaline, shock, anger, frustration, all of those things. And we become very appreciative for the men and women that are standing next to us, helping us also work the problem. And when the suspect is captured, as it was on Sunday by BCSO, you have a very small moment of relief, and even, I would say, even happiness. But that elation and that celebration is very short-lived, because pretty quickly, what's staring you right back in the face again is the tragedy of it all. 2 first responders, 2 public safety professionals killed and murdered just in a couple of days. Paramedic Phoenicia Mercado IV and New Mexico State Police Officer Justin Hare. So the reality is that we recognize pretty quickly that there's a lot more work that needs to be done to make sure that we have a successful prosecution. So we need to remain focused. And while we understand that probable cause certainly exists to file charges, we recognize also that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to ensuring that all the evidence is processed properly, to make sure that we analyze everything, that everything is packaged, getting it ready for trial. Having gone through this in a previous agency, as we lost an officer that was also murdered, I know that the emotions are far from over. I know that the healing process for the family, the agency, and the community will be impaired as this case is brought to trial, as certainly very painful details will be revealed that most of us are not even aware of just yet of these horrific murders. I would finish by saying that it's important that we remain committed to the change in our communities, that we as leadership work together with our communities to ensure that violence against anyone, not just our police officers, violence against anyone is addressed. Also, the violence against our police officers and medical professionals. I would also ask that the support not only for the New Mexico State Police, but also for members of the South Carolina community as we remember those two public servants that remains in everyone's mind, and their thoughts and their prayers. It's for that reason we want to demonstrate our solidarity and support for the family of Phoenicia Mercado IV and the community of Marion County. It's for that reason the Department of Public Safety and New Mexico State Police will be sending 2 of its officers down to the funeral service to make sure that we pay our condolences and respect to the family and also honor Phoenicia as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. I'll introduce New Mexico's Attorney General and the leader of the Mexico Department of Justice, Raul Torres.
New Mexico State Police Officer Justin Hare represents the very best of our community, and he was doing what I think his community raised him to do when he was out before sunrise offering assistance to someone who was in need when he was brutally ambushed and attacked by the defendant who is now charged in federal court. And because he represented the very best of us and our community, he deserves the very best in terms of the commitment that we are all willing to make to secure justice for him and justice for his family. The New Mexico Department of Justice has been working closely with our state, local, and federal partners throughout this process, reviewing warrant applications and consulting with District Attorney Rose, District Attorney Bregman. And we have made the decision to withhold charging on the state side because we all know that there are available state charges. And in working collaboratively with the United States Attorney's Office, have decided to defer our prosecution until the conclusion of his federal prosecution and his federal case. We do that because we believe it is in the best interests of justice, and we do that knowing full well that as soon as his case is addressed here in federal court, he will immediately be taken into custody and face murder charges in state court. But I want the community to rest assured that this decision was made in close collaboration with District Attorney Rose, District Attorney Bregman, and the United States Attorney's Office. We believe that this is in the best interests of justice and stand ready to take up the baton as soon as the process is finished here in federal court. In closing, I want the community to understand that while we sometimes have difficulty coordinating our efforts in between federal, state, and local jurisdictions, nothing brings us together and allows us to work more collaboratively than the loss of the kind of public servant and peace officer that Justin Hare was. And I want the family to know, and the communities in Logan and Tucumcari to know, that this is just the beginning of a long road towards obtaining justice for him, but we will remain steadfast and pursue that till the very end. And with that, I'll turn it back over to the United States Attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General. We'll take a few questions again. I'll remind you we're not going to be commenting on the facts, as this is just the phase at which we've accused a person of a crime.
Alex, are you guys going to seek the death penalty at all?
So the death penalty is a decision that's held by the Attorney General of the United States. Whether and how we get to that the eventual determination is internal to our office. But once that determination is made, the public will know.
So it's not off the table?
So the death penalty is authorized by this statute, carjacking resulting in death. Yes, sir.
Where is Smith right now?
I'm sorry?
Where is Smith right now?
I don't know where Smith is right now, but I will tell you he's scheduled for his initial appearance in this courthouse at noon.
You don't know if he's still in the hospital or not?
I do not know where he is right now, but very shortly he'll be upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Is anyone being charged with aiding or abetting Smith?
Not in this complaint, sir.
What did he ask?
Whether anybody else has been charged with aiding and abetting Smith, and the answer is Smith's the only person charged in this criminal complaint.
With this being a federal case, forgive my ignorance, but could you take charges from South Carolina as well for the death of the paramedic?
If there were federal charges in South Carolina, those could be charged, yes, by the U.S. Attorney out there. I have been in conversation with the United States Attorney in South Carolina, but no charges have been brought as of this point.
You couldn't handle that here, though.
I suppose there could be a waiver of jurisdiction to consolidate them, but we're not at that point. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have the guns believed to have been used in this crime?
The criminal complaint outlines the 9mm handgun that we have recovered, and I won't comment beyond that.
It appeared he had a South Carolina ID, according to the criminal complaint. Do we know why he was here at the end of February, why he came back,
Yeah, I can't comment as to why he was in New Mexico.
or what happened in between February 27th, that APD domestic violence incident?
Yeah, I can't comment on where he was between February and when he was eventually picked up here last weekend.
Got another?
Yes, ma'am.
He has an extensive criminal record. You laid that out in the complaint. Do we know how he was out and how he, I mean, somebody like this, it just doesn't seem like should be in the public.
Sure. I don't know the details of his underlying sentences and the state court sentences that he received, so I can't comment on that. Thank you all. Appreciate your time.